What's up everybody, it's your girl D, and if you're new here, I am a big apple prepper. Today I want to talk about foraging in city parks, and I'm starting out this video by these Juneberry like mini tree shrubs. When I was here a few weeks ago, they were filled with Juneberries, and now there are none left. So either they were taken down by passerbys, because this is a public street and anybody could walk here or drive by. I'm crouched down on the ground because my tripod is not big enough for me to stand in this video. So yeah, this was like all that's left is like just some not so good ones. But I did want to talk about like possibly you know, if it came down to a situation where you had to get food, could you rely on city parks? So that is today's theme, and unfortunately there's no Juneberries here for me to show you, and we're gonna move on to the next stop. Had there been Juneberries, my friend was here literally a few weeks ago foraging on these trees and just eating them straight off of the bush, because like I said, they're public, anybody could walk by. Juneberries grow on tall shrubs. They're grown on 900 farms, 32,000 acres in Canada. They're native to North America. They are self-pollinating. They're 18% sugar, 80% water, and I don't know what the other remaining 2% is. They're high in vitamins A, B, C, and riboflavin. So that is Juneberries. That's what you could get here for $3.99 when there are some on the bush. But right now there aren't. So these are the bushes that are here. And like I said, this is public land, and you could just come here and take as many as you want, just like my friend did. So I'm in a different section of the park right now, and as you can see the beautiful New York City view from the background. By the way, I'm in Astoria Park, which is in Queens, New York. So this next tree I wanted to show you grows small apples. I'm not exactly sure the type of apple it is, and there's no ripe apples currently on the tree, but I don't know. There's no ripe apples currently on the tree, but when they are ripe, they are slightly bigger. And I actually brought my measuring tape because the smallest apples recorded in the world are called tiddly palm apples, and they are native of New Zealand, and they measure 1.6 inches in diameter. And I think that these, when they get full size, they might be just around that size. So but again, we're not in New Zealand, we're in New York City. If they are not considered the tiddly palm apples, then they might be rocket apples. Rocket apples are mixed between Gala Splendor and Gala Slender. So very interesting that they would be a hybrid. Or they would also be considered the Macintosh apple, which what came first, the Mac computer or the fruit? That's a good question. What came first, the Mac computer or the Mac apple? It was definitely the Mac apple that came first, and the computer was named after the apple. So when the fruit is ripe on these trees, it actually does turn slightly red, and they taste more on the bitter side. So, but they are edible, so you could definitely forage them, and obviously the ones that hang the lowest get foraged the most. And I just spotted this sunflower that hasn't fully opened in the park, and it's planted in this enclosed space in the park. So it was definitely planted by the Parks Department, and you could use sunflowers for many different types of edible uses. They are definitely edible. You can turn the stalk into flour, or you can eat the seeds, or you can make oil. Lots of different uses, and we have that in the public park. Alright guys, so here we are. We're by this mulberry tree, and you can tell that it's a mulberry, not a blackberry, not a blueberry, because it's an extra large tree, which is how mulberries grow. And there is actually some edible fruit on pretty low-hanging branches that you can just grab and eat, but a lot of it has fell to the ground, as you can see, which is typical of a mulberry tree. It stains the ground and all around, and you could tell this mulberry tree was not intentionally planted here, because if it was, it would not be so close to the sidewalk or to necessary pipage and things like that, because they're known to destroy everything that's around them. But again, another place you can forage, and all the way high up on those branches you can see tons and tons of mulberries. And here I also found some pine trees all in a row, and typically when you see things planted in a row, that indicates that it wasn't naturally, you know, grown there out of the ground, that somebody deliberately planted it. And I saw a lot of this when I was in Iceland, actually, because in Iceland, like half the foliage, half the trees and stuff is missing, and it looks like you've landed on Mars, because there's nothing as far as plants are around. And then the only plants I did see were plants that were planted exactly in a row. So that's what you have here. Anyway, pine cones can these pine cones aren't ripe, they're kind of greenish, so you can't really do anything with them just yet. But if they were brown, you could take them and you can heat them up and get the pine nuts out of them. So this could be another foraging idea from New York City Public Park. So I found another mulberry tree, and this one has the light to dark actually on it, so it gives you guys a sense of how they're developing. New York City views. And that is Manhattan over there. And that across the way is Randall's Island. New York City is a lot of little islands together, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. If they're tourists, they might not know it. So there are some geese up ahead, and you could get yourself some berries and a bird in New York City Park for free $3.99. Bird and berries, bird and berries. And Princess just ate a cucumber. Look at her, she's enjoying the weather. Look at her. Got all these ice packs in her cart so that, oh, I just took out her ice water. It's full of hair to keep her cool, because guinea pigs don't sweat, right, Princess? And it's a hot day, so she needs to be cool. Hell's Gate Bridge. And another thing you could forage is this tree full of shoots. In this part of the video, we're going to talk about inedible fruits. So I stumbled upon this fruit or nut tree a while ago, and I did actually take it home and open up the fruits, and it's like the most random fruit thing ever. So as much as you know how to forage, you should also know what not to forage for. In New York City parks, there's a ton of clovers. I'm pretty much sitting in a field of clovers right now, and these are white clovers, but we do have a lot of red clovers, which are growing during the months of June to September, and there's a lot that you can do with clovers. Sometimes you'll even see clover honey, and it's getting windy, so I have to hold my tripod. But clovers are part of the legume family. Oh, somebody's playing music now. Historically, clovers are used to treat asthma and other respiratory illnesses, but they've also been known to help treat cancer. You can do a lot with these guys. You can actually take them apart and sprinkle them into salads, and you can also make teas out of them. You can eat them. Pretty much every part of the clover is edible. They're also used to treat whooping cough, skin inflammation, psoriasis. It can be baked into something. It can be used as a garnish. There are over 300 types of grass that are actually edible, but you would have to know which ones are, such as Timothy grass, crabgrass, and certain other types of grass. But not all grass is edible.
Don't eat that.
So, in completion, to wrap up this video, there's another rule of thumb that you should also remember, which is any type of plants that have little berries that are green or white are also not edible. You have your edible plants, you have your non-edible plants, and it is also illegal to forage from city parks, because city parks do believe that they can be over foraged for some reason, and they think you're taking away food from chipmunks, and you can end up getting a fine. But if you had to do it for a snack, you could. To live off of, you cannot. And that's basically everything I have to tell you guys once again, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.